In today's episode, let's try and look at why special status has once again surfaced in the election manifestos of certain parties across the country and why it is being used as a poll gimmick to entice voters. The most recent occurrence or utterance of special status happened through Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, who was campaigning in Pondicherry, and she promised the Union Territory that it would be given a special status along with other benefits. Now, why did she say that? Or why did the BJP make such a promise that is already a bone of contention for the Telugu states currently? Let's look at the why, how, and what of special status. Now, did you know that the Indian Constitution doesn't have any provision for special status? So, how did the political parties really get to the point where they started promising states that they will be giving special status? So, in the past, the National Development Council, which was part of the Planning Commission, which doesn't exist anymore, considered factors such as hilly or difficult terrain, or a sizable share of population of the state being tribal, strategic location along India's borders, economic and infrastructural backwardness, and non-viable nature of the state's finances. So these were primarily the factors for which the center granted special category status to certain states. So why did special status become a bone of contention right now under the Modi government, and why is it so controversial as a subject? So in 2014, after Narendra Modi came to power, he formed something called the Niti Aayog, which also led to the Planning Commission not existing anymore. That also meant the National Development Council also ceases to exist, which means the grant of special category status no longer exists to states. Instead, what Niti Aayog came up with was the 14th Finance Commission, which promised a certain percentage of devolution of funds to the state, and the state would be helped by the center. In 2015, however, the Modi government again gave clarification that special category status will remain for the states that already have it, but will not be given for any state other than the existing states. So, which are the states that are covered under special status, and what gets covered as benefits under this special category status? Let's have a look. So, the National Development Council in 1969 first accorded special status to Jammu and Kashmir, and then to Assam and Nagaland. Later, 8 more states were added to the list: Arunachal Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Sikkim, Tripura, and finally in 2010, Uttarakhand got added to this. So, what are these benefits that states get under the special category status? So, the central government generally bears 90% of the state expenditure on all centrally sponsored schemes and externally aided projects, while 10% is given as loan to the state at 0% interest. Now, the second thing is preferential treatment in getting central funds. The third point is concession on excise duty to attract industries to the state. Fourth, 30% of center's gross budget also goes to special category states. This is a very important point. These states can also avail the benefit of debt swapping or debt relief schemes. Sixth, states with special category status are exempted from customs duty, corporate tax, income tax, and other taxes to attract investment. The first point that I raised was 90% of the funds come from the center, while 10% come from the state government in centrally sponsored schemes and externally aided projects. While for other states, usually it is in the ratio of 70-30. Center sponsors 70%, 30% is borne by the state. So now, Why is special status suddenly creating controversies all over again during this election time? So, during the bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh, the then UPA government promised special status for the new Andhra Pradesh state, which would be devoid of funds following its separation from Telangana. Now, when the BJP came to power in 2014, it also said that it would implement the special status promise to Andhra Pradesh. But what is the truth behind AP's special status? Now, by denying Andhra Pradesh its right and promise of special status, the center came up with a new term called special assistance. What it said was for 5 years, Andhra would get special assistance instead of special status, which the state did not agree completely to because the center has been dishonest in the devolution of funds to Andhra Pradesh. We have seen it during the previous government's time where the center and the state were not on good terms when it came to funds devolution. Now, the real question is why is Pondicherry, which is a union territory and enjoys tax benefits, seeking special status? One of the long pending demands of Pondicherry came from its own chief minister, who demanded special status for the state, stating that the state is doing pretty well financially, but he believed that it can only happen through special status and handholding of the center. So, as an election gimmick, the BJP has now pitched special status to Pondicherry as something that's attractive to the voters. But it is also doing because the BJP is trying to make headway in South and in Tamil Nadu, especially, which is a highly regional and culturally driven state, it is very difficult for the Saffron Party to make headway. Hence, it is using this as its strategy to get through this election. For anyone trying to understand the special status issue in depth, one cannot ignore the fact that Andhra Pradesh was denied special category status, and going by that example, the center itself said that special category status no more stands as something that the center can grant. But now, the same center which said that special category status doesn't exist anymore or cannot be given to any state has once again brought up special category status to Pondicherry. Now, how does one really see this? We are aware that BJP is trying to sell this as a poll gimmick, and it is very evident through BJP's actions. But in an era which is driven by the culture of freebies and where direct cash is actually put in the hands of voters, will a promise like special status really work with voters? And on the other hand, this also exposes BJP's hypocrisy, and time and again it has been giving this stepmotherly treatment to South Indian states which actually contribute the highest to India's GDP. Thank you for watching my analysis. If you like it, please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.